This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. Today's hosts are me, Savannah Bewley,
and Bryan Bridge.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Today, Thanksgiving.
Woo! I am so excited. I love this time of year. I know that, we just got through Halloween, and as soon as Halloween ends, a lot of people, not everybody, focuses on Christmas and Thanksgiving, kind of. But I wouldn't say I'm in love with food, but just the feeling that I get when I think that I can spend the day or week with my family and eat good food, and just thinking of all the traditions that I've had in my past.
It's wonderful.
It brings warmth to my heart.
I don't like it when people skip Thanksgiving. It bothers me. I'm it's such a wonderful time of year. I just love all the food that people get together and all the special recipes that everyone brings, because everyone brings their special item and then it's all together, and it's sad that people skip it. And I love Christmas just like the next guy, but I miss it when people just kind of skip over Thanksgiving.
No, I totally agree, because first of all, Christmas, again, is amazing, but it's a little bit more commercialized and all about the gifts, whereas Thanksgiving, you can't really give gifts. You can say you're thankful for things, but it's a holiday that is focused a lot more on spending time with people. Even though that is characterized with Christmas, it's a lot more geared towards Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and thinking about being thankful for things. And I think a lot of times people are I'm getting things. I'm, giving gifts and things like that. But reality is things don't matter, right? And what really matters is the people around you and Christ, and so Thanksgiving feels almost faithful in a way, because you're thanking God and thanking those around you for the wonderful spiritual blessings that you're getting throughout the year. And I love that part about Thanksgiving. It's wonderful. There's not gifts being given, like you're saying.
Very true.
Just
Very
wonderful.
True. Yeah, now don't go to sleep on us. Let's listen in to what others are eating and doing during Thanksgiving time.
Favorite Thanksgiving tradition is when we have a whole bunch of students over, because my dad literally invites all of his classes. So if they don't leave town or don't have plans, they all just come over. Favorite food is definitely gonna be just the turkey. I love the turkey, guys.
My favorite Thanksgiving traditions is every year, the day after, me and my family would go watch the new Disney movie that would be released, and then also do fun Black Friday shopping, and we'd go in the middle of the night. And then my favorite Thanksgiving food is, I always liked the stuffing that my grandma would always make. It was very basic, but it was really, really, really good. I also really liked just kind of hanging out with the cousins. After we would eat, we just kind of just hang out and just play games. And we'd also sometimes go to the local pool and just have a swim party with all of my cousins. And so, that was my favorite Thanksgiving traditions.
For Thanksgiving, me and my family all make Thanksgiving dinner together and make pies, because my family doesn't particularly love turkey. Instead of doing turkey, we do brisket and ribs. And then we all talk about what we're thankful for and watch movies.
Okay. Swimming, that must be Florida? Because even in California, where I'm from, you couldn't go swimming. It was 60 degrees. That's too cold.
Oh, yeah. Or it could be Georgia or Alabama, maybe.
Think so?
Yeah, some of those southern states, I bet, in the east. But yeah, swimming, I was very shocked. Very, very shocked to hear that one.
It's oh yeah, for Christmas, I just go to the beach and things like that. And it's what?
What?
What are you talking about? That is not normal.
Is this Australia?
Yeah, seriously. Jeez.
And I watch a few Australian YouTubers, and they talk about Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they're always talking about the sunshine, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's not Thanksgiving.
I mean, personally, again, I'm from California. We didn't do any of the things where I can say we went to the beach or, we went to the pool. We were able to go out and play football on a grass field, not a snow field. We were able to go out in our driveway and play basketball. So it wasn't snowing, it wasn't raining, but it was still cold. It was windy. So
Well, and the cool thing is when you think about Thanksgiving and like all of the Thanksgiving decorations and stuff, you see the fall leaves, right? So I'm guessing in California you still have the fall during Thanksgiving.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, my dad is somebody who takes care of lawns for the city of, city of Cupertino. Anyways, so when he's at the house, like on an off day, he'll be like, okay, boys. And granted, I'm 22 now, so I'm no longer doing this, but he used to be like, okay, boys, let's go rake the leaves up. And, he would go around the block even with, what do you call the thing that blows?
A leaf blower?
A leaf blower, there you go. He would go around the block with a leaf blower and do everybody's leaves. He loved it so much. I mean, even here in Rexburg, I know it was a few weeks ago, but when the leaves start falling, that's my favorite time. Not when the snow starts, but when the leaves start falling, it's beautiful.
It is really gorgeous, but it doesn't last that long here in Rexburg. I think mid-October we were already like getting snow flurries and things like that.
I remember waking up to the first snow. I was like, I know it's not going to stay on the ground, but man, I do not miss this.
And that like freezing wind, oh my gosh, it's so crazy here. I lived in Virginia before here, and like Virginia is just gorgeous this time of year. My mom will send me like videos of Virginia and what's going on right now, and it's still like nice and, fall-like and stuff like that. And it's crazy. I miss that weather for sure.
Have you ever jumped into a pile of leaves?
I have, yeah.
Okay, good.
It's so fun. Yeah, and I lived in Tennessee for a little bit too, so like I got a lot of that experience when I was younger.
It's better to jump into a dry pile of leaves. In California, if there are leaves on the ground, they're most likely moist from like the fog.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so when they're in a pile, it's like jumping into kind of wet paper towels. It's not very fun.
I get that. In the East, it's very humid, so like it's the same with the leaves. They're not really dry unless you've had like 3 or 4 dry days or something, but usually it's not so easy and not so dry. But it's cool to hear the dry leaves. But as we talk about the dry leaves, though, let's think about our Thanksgiving traditions and like what we do during Thanksgiving. You said you blow the leaves around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to think of that as a tradition because that's work.
Yeah.
But I remember growing up, luckily our ward back home was very family oriented, and they had like a turkey bowl. And so, 7 a.m. we would go out to a local park. It wasn't even like a football field, and we would put on flags for flag football, and it would be really fun. Granted, some years it was raining, some years it was like 40 degrees, which is really cold in California. But that is one of my favorite memories of Thanksgiving, like waking up in the morning and knowing, as a 9 or 10-year-old, I get to go play with the big kids. And then, like I said, playing basketball outside after a big, heavy meal. I grew up with 3 other brothers, and so instead of eating a big meal and then like laying down and sleeping, we would go outside and try and burn that energy off.
See, I love that. Our traditions are probably very opposite. So as far as laying down and sleeping, that was kind of my family.
Nice.
So we would eat. So my aunt, she's a chef, and so every year she would make deviled eggs. The best deviled eggs you probably have ever had in your life. My sister learned how to make them because of how awesome they are. So we would always have as many family members as we could over, and my aunt would bring those really awesome deviled eggs, and then my sisters would make their own specialty thing. I made pies one year. That was fun. But it's funny because I don't really like pie that much.
Interesting.
Like I like the pies that don't have the crust on top, so like pumpkin pie and chocolate pie, stuff like that. I like those, but like fruit pies are not really my thing. Like, but I made rhubarb strawberry pie, and that was pretty good. But like,
honestly,
yeah.
I'll eat pumpkin pie. It is good. Not my favorite thing in the world. I don't think anybody can really say that. I'm the heavy whipped cream kind of guy.
Same.
But my grandma would always do a cherry cheesecake instead of like a pie, and so that was delicious. It was so good. But let's focus on the traditions because when we get to food, I can talk forever.
And I'll end up talking about it the whole time. But yeah, another tradition that we used to do the week after Thanksgiving, or not the week, like literally like the day after, we used to go Christmas tree shopping. So that was fun. But I guess it's not really a Thanksgiving tradition. That's more of a Christmas tradition.
You went shopping for a real tree or a fake tree?
A real tree. So we would chop down our own.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was more of a Christmas tradition, but that's something we usually did like literally right after Thanksgiving.
I'd consider that a Thanksgiving tradition for sure.
Yeah, it's like right after. And then, I don't know, we used to watch shows together. Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman is one.
Interesting.
It's like a 90s show about a woman doctor in the Old West, basically. And it's like 1800s-ish era. But yeah, so we used to watch that show together and just like watch the parade, and we had so much fun with that.
Yeah, I think cool nowadays
stuff.
The parade in person isn't going out of style, but on TV, it's going out of style.
Yeah.
Personally, my parents still have cable and had cable growing up. And so we would watch it every single Thanksgiving. And I would remember when Santa Claus would come out the last, and we'd be like, "Yeah, it's Christmas, let's go!" Oh man,
like Elf.
Good memories.
Yeah, Santa. Yeah. I know him.
Yeah, so I mean, really great memories. Granted, I would always be the child that would wake up like 30 minutes into the parade, and so I would, watch they would always replay it as soon as it ended. I don't know why they do that, but so I'd always watch a little bit into the replay, but good times. And then Thanksgiving night, like I said, after playing sports, I was one of the sons. I didn't help clean up growing up, but when I got older, I helped clean up. Anyways, after that, there was always a debate. It wouldn't usually turn into actually going, but at least an argument about whether to do Black Friday shopping.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Guys, do we want to prepare to go? And usually it would be like, no. But there was one year, I think I was like 7 or 8, that finally my brother, who was like old enough, and my sister, who was like late teenage years, they were like, we're doing it. So they got me in their car, and we went to Walmart. And I remember sitting in the grocery cart and absolute chaos.
So much chaos.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. I used to work at Walmart, and I had to work at Walmart one Thanksgiving because of Black Friday. It's one of those things like I refuse to do because of my experience as a worker at Walmart. And I wouldn't say that like as a worker it was crazy for me to like have people like all over me or anything like that, because we had like lines, but it was super busy and it took away my Thanksgiving. Like I didn't get to spend as much time with my family on Thanksgiving because I had to work, and if we didn't work we would be fired, like that kind of thing. Everybody was required to work on Thanksgiving at least 4 hours, and so it was nuts. And a lot of that is just people obsessing over things, and that's not what Thanksgiving's about,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah.
I am grateful. Granted, I know that it still requires manpower and delivery drivers, but I'm grateful for online shopping now, that year round pretty much, but especially towards the holidays, they're like, hey, get your Black Friday shopping done. Don't go into stores, because that experience doesn't haunt me, but it's really scary to think about. So I'm grateful for that. And thank you to anybody who has ever done delivery driving. My brother did it for quite some time, and he did it during the holidays. He's a stoic person, so he didn't complain too much, but I do know that a lot of people struggle with that. So thank you to everybody who does that.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody who does show up to Walmart and work, or to Kohl's, or any of those places.
Any retail
places.
store.
Best Buy, any retail store. GameStop does a lot of really big Black Friday things. So thank you so much for dealing with the crowds. And I wish you didn't have to. I hope you have a really happy Thanksgiving this year, though. Get some time with your family. I know some people that I used to work with at Walmart, they would have Thanksgiving with their family that Wednesday. And so they would have Thanksgiving before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know. And, a little bit more of the population does that with Christmas than Thanksgiving. They have like an early or late Christmas. Mm-hmm. But especially with Thanksgiving, it feels like you're supposed to eat on Thanksgiving Day.
It just feels that way. It feels weird to not. Yeah. And, the football game's coming on, like it's just not the same the day before, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just different. It's different. But I think it's just one of those holidays that you just don't want to miss, you know? And even if you can't do it on Thanksgiving Day, it's good to have at least something. Yeah. So as for Thanksgiving, what are we doing this year? What are you doing this year,
Well,
Bryan?
it's still up in the air for me. I've got a pregnant wife and job interviews left and right, and then also the weather in Rexburg, which may or may not allow me to travel up to Montana, where her family is from, to have Thanksgiving with her grandpa. If that doesn't work out due to weather, because I would have to like travel through the mountains, we'll probably stay here in Rexburg and cook something for ourselves, which would be my first Thanksgiving staying in Rexburg. And I'm excited. We had Easter here, and it was fun to cook all day with her and have that time together. But Thanksgiving is totally different than Easter. The turkey,
I was about to say,
all
would you
the
guys do
side
a turkey
dishes.
for just the two of you?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Leftover turkey. I'm not a crazy person that would say it's one of the best things ever, but I mean, growing up, we would have like 2 bags of leftover turkey just like sitting there, and we would pick at it for the next like month until Christmas. Oh, so good.
Well, and then you can always freeze it too. Like turkey's,
Yeah.
you know, really good. So if you make a whole bird even for yourself, you can have a whole bird in your freezer. So, you know. it's a
What
whole
about
thing.
you? What about you?
This semester, this year, I'm probably going to be doing a Friendsgiving. My mom's all the way out in Virginia, like I was saying. And so like going all the way out there is very expensive. It's very hard, especially like either renting a car or even going on the plane. It's like $800 for a ticket. So I will probably be here with my friends that are going to be here as well. I have friends from Alaska that probably won't be going home either.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to be spending the day with me. But originally I was going to say I was going to have like a chicken. I was going to make like a chicken. And my friend was like, no, we're making it turkey. Like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You got to have turkey on Thanksgiving.
Come on. Do you hate turkey?
No, I love turkey. The problem is I've never made a turkey. And so I didn't want to like mess up the turkey and then have a horrible first Thanksgiving that I cooked, you know, like, so, but my friend was like, yeah, I'm going to make the turkey. Like, I know how to make turkey. And I was like, okay, as long as you know how to make it, you can make it and I'll make other things.
Well, you know what's so funny is that growing up, we would have what I considered a normal turkey. I don't know what spices or juices went into it, but I don't think there was anything out of the ordinary on the turkey. Just last year, I spent Thanksgiving with my wife's family in Illinois, and they wrapped their turkey in bacon and I think one other thing, and then put it in the roaster or whatever you call it, smoker, and it tasted totally different. And I was like,
Very different.
It's good.
Just not
But
what
I
you wanted.
I want my normal turkey back with my normal gravy.
You know, it's funny because I grew up in Indiana, so we did a lot of similar things. We didn't do the bacon, but we did noodles on Thanksgiving. And people, when I tell them we have noodles on Thanksgiving, they're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean noodles on Thanksgiving? That's a huge thing in Indiana. Like everyone buys noodles. Like it's a thing. So we have turkey and then we have the noodles. Then you can like take your turkey apart a little bit and like put it in your noodles and like.
What? Okay,
Yeah.
you still aren't explaining like what noodles.
Yeah, they're like
spaghetti?
You know, no, like chicken noodle. You know, like the chicken noodle
Yeah.
soup. But it's like a thick chicken noodle soup, but it's turkey instead of chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then you put some gravy in there, and then it's homemade noodles, so it's like the thick homemade noodles. But yeah, it's like a huge thing over there. Like
Okay.
huge.
Now I got to
Yeah.
go with my layout. So first of all, I'll explain. Growing up, and still even today, I am pretty picky. I didn't try salsa until I was 21 years old. And so we had a lot of turkey, a lot of gravy, mashed potatoes, green bean, bacon, and onion. I think it,
yes.
I don't know if it's a casserole, or just, I think
Yes.
that's what it is. Stuffing. And then we also had like Jell-O on the table, I think. But I would always just pig out on the turkey and gravy. I would have a little bit of mashed potatoes. I'd have a tiny bit of stuffing, but I would fill up on that turkey. Like I'm talking 15 pieces of turkey. That's a lot. I know
oh my
that.
gosh.
I know
that's great, but awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so that's just how I was. I can't imagine that being a weird layout of things for Thanksgiving. But when I spent Thanksgiving with my wife's family last year, first of all, they started eating before the actual meal. They were like, yeah, this is normal. And it opens our stomach up. I'm like, no, you're supposed to fast 24 hours beforehand. And then they were like, and we have this and that and this and that. And then they like barely ate the turkey. Everybody had like 2 slices and that was it. And I'm like, this is not normal. This is not okay. What about you?
I think I like a little bit of everything. So I do usually have like 2 or 3 pieces of turkey, but I like the cranberry sauce on my turkey. I know people think that's weird, but I love it. Or I'll do the gravy with it as well, and then the mashed potatoes, but also with the gravy. Gravy's my thing. I love the gravy. I'll put it on the stuffing and all of it. It's so good. But yeah, I think my favorite foods. You talked a little bit about cheesecake earlier.
Oh yeah.
My mom, she makes a marble cheesecake every single Thanksgiving, every single Christmas, for birthdays if people ask for it. It is the best. It's chocolate and the regular like New York cheesecake.
Yeah.
She just like puts it together. It is so good. That is definitely something I always look forward to, the desserts on Thanksgiving. It's so good. Another thing that's kind of weird over in the East, or it's more like a Southern thing, but sweet potato pie.
You know what? I think it was last year that it was the first time I had sweet potato casserole. So good. I don't know if it's the same thing as the pie, but...
So the sweet potato pie is kind of like pumpkin pie, but a little different.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't have like the top crust. It's like a pumpkin pie. But yeah, it tastes a little different. And that wasn't something I realized really had until I moved to Virginia. And then I was like, this is a thing. And there were no noodles. And I was like, where are the noodles? but yeah, so yeah, that one. And you just mentioned something. What were you talking about before sweet potato pie? Sweet potato casserole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. My sister, that's her thing that she brings. She always brings the sweet potatoes and she puts the mini marshmallows on top, and it's so good.
It's so good.
It's
now,
so good.
You were talking earlier about deviled eggs. I actually hate deviled eggs.
Really?
Not my thing.
That is so weird. It's such a favorite.
We had them at the table, but I would never.
Oh my gosh.
Never.
I don't know if there's anything Thanksgiving food wise that I don't like. The only foods that I like really, really hate are like olives, like things that aren't really like
interesting.
Thanksgiving.
So like the
like,
tiny little appetizer tray.
Yeah,
kind of
like
stuff.
with the olives or like, yeah. But that's not really a Thanksgiving food. It's just a regular food. But yeah, so lots of interesting foods. And I love talking to different people about their Thanksgiving experiences because, like I said, the whole Indiana thing with noodles, like I thought everybody ate noodles. And then I get people in California telling me certain things that they eat. And like some people are a little bit more heavy on the Tex-Mex down in Texas. Down in Texas, they do like some Tex-Mex stuff. Or like more salsa things and like things
that
like that.
So interesting.
It's so weird, but it's so cool that everybody has these wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving traditions.
I'm looking at a picture here.
Yeah.
And I see different foods. For those who eat ham on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
It's fine, but that's a Christmas food, okay? And then also I see here some rolls. I was never big into rolls. My plan for Thanksgiving, always, every single year, is to save room for the turkey. That's just what's in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have 10 to 15 slices.
I don't know if you've ever watched Friends, but like you're reminding me of this episode where Joey like eats an entire turkey like by himself.
Yep.
And like, because basically he's like, I don't know. He's like, I want turkey. And then Monica's like, no, I'm not going to make turkey because nobody's going to eat it because this person doesn't want it. This person doesn't want it. Joey's like, no, you make the turkey. I will eat the turkey. She's like, all right. And the entire episode, he's just trying to eat this turkey. So
I do remember that. Yeah. And that's kind of how my sister and my mom were. They knew how much turkey I ate. And they would always, urge me to eat these other things. I think I tried it once, the green bean, bacon, and onion thingy, but it wasn't my thing. And turkey just signifies Thanksgiving to me. And I know that, again, my wife, she is all about eating as many different things as possible. But if I don't get 10 slices of turkey, it's not a good Thanksgiving.
I'm just imagining this plate, like this giant plate.
No.
With a mound of
I have
turkey.
to go back and get some more. I'm not going to put 10 slices on right away. Come on. It's like
well, you're going to eat it anyway.
It's like 3 at a time. Okay.
So three throughout the whole day.
No.
During
So
dinner.
Yeah, just during dinner. So I start off putting 3 on so that nobody like side eyes me. I put a tiny bit of mashed potatoes on the side of the plate, and then load on the gravy. Go to the dinner table, start eating. Come back, get 3 more slices, nothing else, and then that's where it starts.
And then you just keep going and
just keep
turkey.
going until I can't anymore. Yep.
So we were speaking about how both of us are probably going to be here for Thanksgiving, depending on weather. There are a lot of people here in Rexburg that just they can't go home because it's so far away. And so is there anything that that your friends are doing this semester, like this year on Thanksgiving, that they can't go? What do they do in Rexburg?
Well, first of all, I think the cause of so many college students staying in that town for Thanksgiving is because you only have 2 days and then a weekend as your break. For some reason, I feel like growing up, the break was so much longer.
It was, yeah.
7 to 10 years ago, it feels like they cut it down to like 2 days. Anyways, and so you're right. People don't feel like an $800 plane ticket is worth it to go home. And so I would say I don't know of any plans going on, but make sure you're already freezing your turkey. If you don't have one and you are staying in Rexburg, it's going to be pretty difficult because that students are the base population of Rexburg, but there are also a lot of families. And so Walmart might not be stocked like you might think it is. And then
get it early November.
Exactly. Get it right after Halloween. My birthday was November 8th. We got it. I don't know of any specific plans. I do know that right by the I-Center is where everybody will be leaving that Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving morning, but the day before Thanksgiving morning in the snow. I went through it one time. If you are staying in Rexburg, be happy. Don't be sad. Like Savannah said, you have your friends. You can hang out with them. If you don't have friends to do that with, I'm not saying you don't have friends, but just find something that can make you happy. Make yourself a big turkey and eat 15 slices of turkey just yourself.
Another thing around here, if all your friends are gone and your family's not around, I know a lot of bishops around here will have people for Thanksgiving. So ask your bishop what they're doing, because that's a possibility. They probably have quite a few YSAs that come every single year. So just think about that. There's definitely solutions and options. If you don't have people that you can spend Thanksgiving with, please don't sit at home alone and feel sad. There are so many people out there that are willing to invite you into their homes and to help you have a little bit of a tradition there, just a little bit. Make sure to celebrate your Thanksgiving. Everyone have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving from The Spot. You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were me, Savannah Bewley,
and Bryan Bridge.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. This episode was edited by me, Savannah Bewley. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media, or visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click on podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the BYU-Idaho Radio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get podcasts. And also, leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.